What's up, guys? Full Guard MMA back with another video. Today, we're going to talk about the middleweight title picture and who we think should be next for the title. Right now, starting off, we got the champ, Dricus Du Plessis.
Right now, Dricus is looking damn near unstoppable at 185 pounds. He fought Robert Whitaker. He outclassed Robert Whitaker, dropped him with a jab. He was able to. He didn't even get a judo trip. He just grabbed a headlock and threw him down. Big brother Rob Whitaker finished him. Then he fought Sean Strickland for the title. Everybody had trouble hitting Sean Strickland. He ran the numbers up against Sean Strickland. He was a volume machine against Sean Strickland. He was a cardio machine against Sean Strickland. He had Sean Strickland on the back foot for 90% of that fight, according to the stats, I believe. 96% of that fight. He had Sean on the back foot, according to the stats, on the feet. And then we come to 2 weeks back. We had the champ taking on Israel Adesanya to see who's the real African. You know what I mean? And Dricus finishes him in the 4th round. So right now he's looking damn near unstoppable. He's super hot right now, 8-0 in the UFC. If the UFC is fair, if it's still a sport, we gotta see my man running back with Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland versus DDP if life was fair. What do you think about that, E?
I felt like Strickland might have won that last fight, man. It was very close. It was very close. Not many people do that to Sean. Sean is best fighters in that division. Top
for sure. Best overall fighters in the division for sure. One of the best.
And he enjoys it. This dude be sparring on fight week.
Yeah, he's psycho.
This dude just loves it. Yeah. So it's to him, it's just running it back with Dricus. That's a fight that people want to see for sure.
But I see a lot of people saying that they felt like Sean Strickland won that fight, but Dricus it was so close, and we know in the scoring criteria when the fight's close like that, when the striking and the grappling seems equal, they go based on to different criteria: who had more forward pressure, who had more takedowns, who had the submission attempts. All these things come into play. And when you look at that, Dricus Du Plessis he was walking him down the whole fight. He was throwing volume. Sean had that little weird from Philly shell, and it makes it hard for people to touch him. Makes it really hard for people to touch him. Dricus Du Plessis said in an interview, he said honestly, when Izzy lost to Sean, I thought he might have had an off night. But then when I fought Sean, I realized, it's hard to hit this guy. And he said the way I combated his defense was I just threw more volume out there. I just kept throwing shit out there. You need to run the numbers up against Sean Strickland. It's that simple.
One hit to get back too. It walked him down. It walked him down the whole fight.
Walk him down DDP.
And I feel like Eric Nixon said the same thing. He's like, when people face Sean for the first time, they're confused. They don't know what to do because his style is so unique.
Facts.
They're not used to it, and they have that 1,000-mile stare. That deer in the headlights.
Chris Curtis said the same thing. Israel Adesanya says the same thing. Everybody that fights the guy is like, man, it was hard to hit this guy.
We saw Izzy say.
Yeah, everybody that fights him is like, it's hard to hit this guy. Cannonier, everybody.
But Dricus got that style, man. Dricus got that style. He walks him down. He'll
He's
take
a
hip
taker.
Hook. He's a risk taker. Yeah, he does that. He's kind of like a better Vittori.
Yeah.
But in the rematch, man, I'm gonna have to go with Dricus. I feel like that novelty is there for that first fight. After that, you kind of figure him out. I think he figured him out in the later rounds. But actually, now that I look at it, Sean did win the later rounds, but that's because he's a cardio fucking machine. But in the rematch, I feel like Dricus might have figured him out in that last fight, and I feel like he's gonna game plan a lot better. What you think?
In the rematch, DDP's super hot right now. Sean Strickland's coming off a lackluster win over Paulo Costa, and he's waiting. DDP just fought. He's more active than Sean, and he's the champion. He's super hot right now. He just finished Rob and Izzy, 2 of the top 5 middleweights ever. It's hard for me to see him losing to anybody right now that's gonna strike with him. If you want to beat DDP, I think it's gonna have to be with a grappling heavy game plan right now, right? Because he's shown if you strike with him, he's gonna mix it up and he'll win a decision. So we haven't seen anybody attack his. We need to see someone attack his wrestling, and that someone is Boris Chimaev, the Wolf.
This man just needs to show up, man. It's that simple, but it's a lot easier said than done. This dude he just can't make it to fight week, man. He just keeps getting sick. His autoimmune disorder, whatever it is.
Started after COVID. He got sick in COVID, and ever since then.
Ever since COVID, he hasn't been the same. So even if he does come back, I'm not really too confident. But this guy right here, after the champ, he's the biggest mover in that division.
He's the
He's the
most
biggest
interesting
mover.
matchup against DDP because it would be really interesting to see a dominant pressure wrestling Dagestani type of style versus DDP. Let's see how he'd fare against that. Because against the strikers and the jiu-jitsu guys, DDP seems to be murking him. So let's get him in there with a wrestler. All roads to the title lead through this man, Rob the Reaper Whitaker. What do you think about this fight? It's coming up in Abu Dhabi in October. 5-round co-main event. Let me get your thoughts on this.
Listen, the reason UFC hasn't announced the next title contender or the next title fight is because of this fight right here. This fight is the biggest fight in the middleweight division, bar none. The champ is not fighting right now. This is it right here. This is the number one contender fight. The winner of this fight is gonna go on to fight for the title. And I wouldn't like a rematch with DDP and Whitaker. We saw how the last one went.
Yeah.
So Kamzat needs to come out and get this one done. He just needs to show up. Hopefully he's better now. I don't know. That's a big unknown. But this is probably the biggest fight in the division. What you think?
Don't you think Rob Whitaker's style is a little bit of a kryptonite for someone like Hamzat? Anti-wrestling style with extreme sublime kickboxing skills, and also he has cardio. What would you say to that?
Listen, I feel like low-key he might have gotten lucky against Alaskarov. That was a tough fight for both fighters. And I felt like Alaskarov came off on a weak notice, but he knocked him out, man. He was looking real. He looked like a world beater that day. Finished him in the first round. I felt like he would have done the same to Kamzat if he fought him that night.
Look, I have a strong opinion about this fight. Everyone thinks either Rob's gonna get smoked in the first round or he's gonna beat him by decision. But I have a feeling that Hamzat has all the tools to win this fight by decision. He's gonna win the first round. We know this. He'll win the first round. He's gonna take him down. He's gonna beat him up. If Rob can survive that first round, Hamzat starts to dip a little bit after the round 2. I feel like Hamzat wins the first 2 rounds easy, just off pressure wrestling. He's not gonna give Rob time to strike. He's gonna be on the legs all fight. He's gonna pursue takedowns all time that he has energy. Once they start striking a little in the later rounds, I see paths for Kamzat to win a round. All he needs to do is win 1 round of the later 3, and he wins that fight by decision. So decision is gonna get it done. Don't be shocked if Kamzat beats him by decision.
Hey, I mean, that's how his last couple of fights have been going to decision, man. It's it's been kind of, I want to say it's hard to watch, but he does slow down after those first 2 rounds, man. He's not the same. Like, you see it. He got that fast twitch motion. He comes in quick, he comes in hot, and then after that, once you weather that storm,
that is a weakness.
I feel like the only way he should win this fight is by submission first 2 rounds. Get him out of there, man. Get him out of there quick. You don't want to go 5 rounds with the Reaper, man. He's too much of a seasoned vet. He went 50 minutes with Romero.
In his prime.
That's in his prime. You know what I'm saying? So that goes to show this dude, Robert's one of the best fighters in the world, and he's in his own right.
For sure, he's a legend.
He's a BMF in his own right. But
he's a legend.
We
never seen him fight somebody with this level of grappling, though.
Yeah, we thought, honestly, a lot of people did have Alaskarov winning that fight, but we saw Robert's level, man. Robert came through full fight camp. Now think about it, bro. He has 2 fight camps for Kamzat, basically. I don't know, man. This is a tough fight. A lot of unknowns, and that's why this fight is the biggest fight in the middleweight title picture right now.
Yeah, this seems like the most important upcoming fight between the contenders, and I do feel like the winner of this fight is for sure going to fight DDP. Will the winner fight DDP before Sean Strickland? I think yes, if Hamzat wins, but if Rob wins, I think Sean will get the rematch first, and then Rob is going to have to wait. We got another important fight in the middleweight division upcoming end of September. Nasruddin Imavov, your boy Nasruddin, versus Brendan Allen. New Orleans.
Underrated fight, big fight, low key. I would say this is probably title eliminator fight right here. Imavov is number 4. Brendan Allen number 8. This is a tough fight. I've always been a fan of Allen. Allen has been he's a stand-up guy and he's a great fighter.
Workhorse.
Imavov, I don't know, man. I feel like his last couple of fights have just been barely getting the dub. He's just been barely getting away with the win.
Yeah, man. I think the winner of this fight is one win away. The winner of this fight gets a title eliminator for sure. The winner of this fight gets a title eliminator. Brendan Allen's on a 7-fight win streak. Nasruddin Imavov lost to Sean Strickland, had the no contest against Chris Curtis with the accidental headbutt. Then he fights Roman Dolidze, barely gets a majority decision over Roman. Then he fights Jared Cannonier. He's down 3-1 on the cards, gets an early stoppage. 2-1 on the cards. He's down 2-1 on the cards. He gets an early stoppage. The ref jumps in. The second Cannonier is hurt. The second Cannonier is hurt, the ref jumps in and stops it, even though Nasruddin was hurt several times before that. But the second Cannonier gets hurt, the ref stopped it, unfortunately. I felt like he was gifted that Cannonier win. I'm not going to lie to you. And as for this fight, I have a feeling Brendan Allen's going to grind out a decision. He's going to implement that pressure style. He's going to take him down. He's going to beat him up. He'll go for submissions. On the feet, I don't think Brendan Allen wants to strike with Nasruddin Imavov. He's too crisp. He's too technical. Throws too many kicks. He's gonna chop up the body. He's gonna chop up the legs, and then he'll find the face. So I don't think Brendan Allen wants to strike with Imavov for extended periods of time. But I do feel like I'm leaning towards Allen in that fight. He's gonna pick up his 8th straight win, and I feel like he's the dark horse at 185 right now. Pressure style, wrestling. He's similar to DDP.
But who do you think the winner of this fight is gonna face?
The winner of this fight is most likely going to get a title eliminator fight against the loser of Rob Hamzat. That's my opinion. We'll see what's going to happen. That's way down the line. But I do think either way this fight plays out, the loser, everyone on Twitter, MMA, the MMA fans, they're going to go after the loser. They're going to be like, oh, he got fraud checked. Either way this fight goes, somebody's going to get fraud checked. It's a fraud check fight. On to my boy. It sucks, It sucks. It had to be him, man. My boy Izzy.
1-3, man. 1-3.
Is he washed?
1-3.
When the world needed him most, the style bender disappeared. What's going on?
Honestly, man, I feel like he's losing to success, man. I feel like he's gotten too successful. He came in late to the UFC. He came in his 30s. People thought he was a lot younger than he was, just because black don't crack. They thought he was some youngin, but he was in his 30s, man. He was in his 30s, and we're starting to see the decline, man. The top of the game is a game of inches.
35.
Is he 35?
30. He just turned 35, bro. That's the death touch, 185 and below.
He's there, man. He's there. That speed, you start to lose that speed a little bit. 1-3 in his last fights. He's been fighting at the top, so you can't really hold those against him. So I think the next up should be a test for him, man. Give him someone on a losing streak. See where he's at. What you think?
What I'm asking for right now is, do you think he's washed, or does he still have something left in the tank? What do you think based on his last performance?
I think he got something left in the tank for sure.
You think he can make it back to a title?
That's the tough one. Who knows? We got to see his next fight, and it's a must-win fight for him.
I'm gonna need you to get off that fence you're sitting on and pick a side there, my brother.
I'm waiting. I'm gonna go on a limb and say he's not washed. I think he still got it. Will he be a champion? I don't know. I think Gatekeeper is probably most likely where he's gonna go.
High-level Gatekeeper.
Yeah. Like
Rob Whittaker. You think Izzy's the new Rob Whittaker at 185? Just gonna beat up all the other contenders?
Imagine Rob overlaps him.
That'd be crazy. No, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think he's washed. I just feel like everybody else, the game is improving, and Izzy's every fight he fights the same way. There's so much tape on him. It's always the same thing. It's always the jab. It's always the feints. It's always the leg kicks. It's always the short uppercuts. Always the same game plan for Izzy pretty much every fight. It's just a matter of how much volume he's throwing. That's the difference from fight to fight.
See, Pereira mentioned, and when Alex talks, I listen. Easy.
Shama.
Shama. So what I think, and this is what he said. He said he felt like Izzy was hurt that fight because he stopped throwing his low leg kicks, and that's like his go-to, his bread and butter. That. And he said he kind of went away from that. He said he felt like he suspects that there might have been an injury that he wasn't speaking. Izzy's as much shit that he talks,
He
He
did
is
not throw
humble
that
in,
many leg kicks. You're right. He didn't even throw that many. He usually throws a lot of leg kicks. You're right about
and
that.
he was humble in defeat. So I have to give him that. So I feel like he didn't want to show up
You didn't
Dreykus
see
that
Izzy's
night.
response?
But what was the response?
He said, "I swear this guy knows me, man." That's what he said. So he's hinting at maybe there was an injury to his leg or something. That's why he wasn't throwing kicks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
So
gonna
it
lie,
could be.
yo,
I
his
don't.
takedown
That's
defense
why I don't
looked
think.
pretty good. His takedown defense looked pretty good. It's just once he got tired, bro, he gave up that submission too quick, and that's a bad look. Izzy didn't have quit in him like
The
that
gear
before.
off.
Do I think he's washed? I love him, bro. You know I love Izzy. I'm a big fan, but yes, I do think he's washed. I don't think he'll ever be in a title fight ever again. That's my definition of washed. He's washed compared to the version he used to be. He's not technically washed compared to other people, but he's washed compared to himself, if you get what I'm trying to say. I don't think he'll ever be a championship fighter ever again. Unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we see another Izzy title run, but I don't see him getting the title again, unfortunately. The opposite of washed, completely surging, hot prospect. His gym is taking
Hot.
over. Everybody out this gym seems to be gold, touched by gold. They got that golden
Yo,
touch.
they got the four horsemen of their own, but we'll save that. We'll save that for another video. This guy Kayo is coming in hot. I call him the anti-Daggy, bro, because this guy when he beat Abus Magomedov,
Yeah,
I
and he
was
beat
convinced
Gaji. He beat Gagiev, and other Dagestani. He's 2-0 against Dagestanis, bro.
bro, he's the anti-Daggy, bro. I don't think Daggy's got to win over this dude because you know the Daggy and Brazil beef is serious.
Yeah,
It's
and
very
he
like
was taking down
hard for him.
Abus and Gaji, so he could clearly wrestle. He's a Brazilian, so you know that jiu-jitsu is on point. And as you saw in that Cannonier fight, that striking is killer. What do you think about this guy?
Man, that striking the Cannonier fight, the way he was piecing him up was
Impressive.
impressive, man. I would say give this guy the number one contender fight. Easy. He's there for sure. For sure.
Number one contender fight. He's number 5 in the rankings now.
He's top 5 now. You have to give him a title contender fight. That's it. It's very simple. Who do you think he faces for that fight, though?
I'm gonna go out on a limb. If he fights before the end of the year, it's gonna be Izzy.
Quick turnaround.
Deshaun
You got
versus
Dreykus
DDP.
versus Deshaun Strickland, baby. Ooh, the Philly show is back. And Dana said he wants to fight in South Africa. So
You see, look at his ear. He got the blunt.
No.
He got the blunt on under his do rag. You feel me?
You got the Swisher Sweets up in there.
Swisher Sweet
You
is
got the
nasty work.
do-rag.
Swisher Sweet is nasty work. Anyways, who you got in this match? But that's the matchup we want. Who are you favoring in this rematch?
In the rematch, bro, I gotta go with Dreykus, man. He's too hot. He's too hot. I know the last fight was close, but a lot of people have very tough fights.
If you
fighting
had
Sean
to
the
give it a
first
number,
time.
if you had to give it a number, 70-30, 60-40, what are we thinking here?
I would say he wins in a 5-round matchup. This will go decision. Probably unanimous, maybe split, but I gotta give three rounds to 2. I'd say he gets it done 48-47 to the champ.
Sean? Oh, to the champ.
Defends
Okay.
his title.
I would
Yeah,
say
yeah.
right now DDP's so
He's
hot.
another
I think it's a 65-35 type of fight. You know, in terms of the odds, I think he'll be close to a -200 favorite against Sean Strickland, maybe a little bit above -200. He's just super hot right now. And then another matchup we want: Fighting Nerds versus City Kickboxing.
It's a battle of an established gym versus an up-and-coming gym.
Yes,
And
sir.
if he wants to turn around, I think that's probably the fight to make. But this is a hard match. As the Izzy fan, this is a hard matchup to see. But yo, Izzy has surprised me multiple times in the past where I didn't think he was gonna win, and he gets it done. So if he's 100% and he gets up in there, I think he gets this one done. I think
Hot take.
nice. Yeah.
Hot take, I think Izzy would get this done. Hot take, I think Izzy would get this done too. Because you saw in the
decision, though.
Cannonier fight that Kaio has a little bit of that ego. He's like, yo, this guy's a good striker. I'm about to strike with this dude 5 rounds. That's what he did against Cannonier.
Yeah, and he be
So
wrestling
if
with
he
the
does
dead.
that shit against Izzy, I think Izzy pieces him up. But we'll see. That is a matchup that I want. It's an interesting matchup. City Kickboxing is very similar to Fighting Nerds. City Kickboxing, when they first came up, everybody, Dan Hooker, Carl France, all these Volkanovski, Adesanya, they were taking over. And Fighting Nerds is kind of like the 2.0 version of City Kickboxing. So this is a very interesting fight on many different levels. I want the loser of the #1 contender fight in Abu Dhabi between Rob Whittaker and Hamzat Chimaev versus the winner of the Fight Night main event between Brendan Allen and Nasruddin Imavov coming up at the end of September. They're fighting at the end of September. Hamzat and Rob are fighting in the beginning of October. The timelines match up. Let's get the loser of the number one contender fight versus the winner of the Fight Night main event. And the winner of that fight should get a title fight. Maybe mid-2025, ideally.
I like it. This very well could be Robert Whittaker versus Brandon Allen. I feel like that could be another one.
Or Robert Whittaker versus Imavov. In Paris.
Yes.
That's a fire fight.
That's a big fight. Another fight night main event.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Listen, man. Somebody call him Hunter Campbell, man. Let him know.
You see Hunter and Dana plotting in the corner.
That's Fat Dana too.
Yeah. Fat Dana. Yo, if you want Izzy, if they still care about Izzy, if they still want him in the big fights, give him Paulo Costa. 3-round fight on a pay-per-view co-main event somewhere. It should be a bounce back. It'll be a nice bounce back fight. It'll give Izzy some momentum again. Then you can probably do Izzy versus Kyle or somebody like that.
I think this is a more reasonable matchup for Izzy. Being an Izzy fan, I would definitely want him to take this fight. I feel like he could probably finish Costa again, and just give him that victory, give him that moral confidence, just to get him going. Get that ball rolling again. Because I feel like Izzy still got it. Last 4 fights, Costa lost his last 4. Izzy's 1-3 in his last 4.
No. Costa lost his last 2. He beat Luke Rockhold.
Oh,
he's 1-5. He's like 1-4, I think, or something. He lost to Izzy, lost to Marvin, beat Luke, lost to
Yeah, you're right.
Lost to
Vittori
Rob and Sean.
Yeah, lost to Vittori. Oh, so he's also 1-3 in his last 4.
Yeah, he's 1-4. 1-4.
So Izzy 1-3 in his last 4. Costa 1-3 in his last 4.
Let's make it happen. That seems to be the fight to make.
Costa's a big name. And loser gets up out of the top 10. That's it. Loser gets up out of the top 10. Simple. And bring someone else in there. The middleweight division coming up with some dogs, man. Anthony Hernandez is an honorable mention. I think
the loser gets fed to the wolves. Loser gets fed to the wolves kind of fight.
That's what happened.
Loser gets fed to the wolves kind of fight.